Okay, I thought I would do a video on looking up parts. I've had several people ask me about this, and it really depends on what motor you have. There's there's a few different sites that you can look up parts. This is just one of them, marineengine.com, and also, like, if you're doing a Mercury, you can look up Mercury Marine. I'll show you that in a second. But this one's good because it's Johnson Evinrude OMC. And they've got some other ones over here, Mercury Mariner, Mercruiser Force, Chrysler. If you're doing a Yamaha, Honda, or Suzuki, you'll have to find a different site to do that. But basically, like, to start, say you wanted to look up a Johnson. Okay, we're going to click on the Johnson, and then they'll have shop by model number. So almost always you're going to look everything up by model number. The serial number is hit or miss. Sometimes you can look up, like on Mercury site, searching by a serial number from 1993 on up, you'll probably find the motor. Anything from 93 back, you may not find it. Just sort of depends. So, in the case of, say, a Mercury, if you didn't know what the model number was, or if it wasn't coming up with the serial number, you could go over here. They'll have shop by model number, and you can look up the model number, or you can shop by year. So if we go by year, you know, Marine Engine is pretty good because they kind of break everything down into years. Sometimes you can find the year by find the motor by the year. So like 1975, say you didn't have the model number, then they're going to have a list of the motors horsepower range that they made in those years. So like a 40 horsepower. And then they'll have these models, and you'll have to just, look at your tag on your motor and figure out, okay. So on Johnson Evinrude's, it's a lot easier because you can find the model number. On the Mercuries, they just have a serial number. So let's just go back. We're going to go back to the top. So like on Mercury, if you had to find, you did have a serial number, but when you put in a serial number, see, they say shop by serial number. So right away we got two different selections. On the Johnson Evinrude and some of those other motors, you'll put in a serial number. Say you put in a serial number for a Mercury, it doesn't come up. So we're going to select Mercury outboard 1960 to present. They also have accessories and kits, and they have some other things, but typically we're going to select this, and then we're going to find our horsepower. Okay, so I'm working on a 7.5 horsepower, right? And you can see her before, like I had looked at, I have a motor and it's like 644. Well, if you look here, we got different ranges. So if this one and up, so 5206, 550 and up, or this range. So if we select that, then it's going to come up with parts diagrams. And then we got to search by what we're looking for. So for example, if we wanted to look at the carburetor choke assembly, we would select that. And then it's going to come up with the carburetor, and it's going to have these parts diagrams. And then at the bottom here, it's going to list all the components. Now we could do the same thing on Mercury site. We just go to mercurymarine.com and we're going to go over to parts and accessories. We're going to select parts and accessories, and then we're going to look at the Mercury parts catalog. We'll click on that. Then we're going to launch the parts catalog. So it'll take it a second, and it'll come up, and it's a database. So up here you can put the serial number in. So I know mine is 644 something. It won't work. It won't find the motor. So we're going to click outboard, and then we have a list. So they have their 4-stroke, 2-stroke DFI Optimax, the 2-stroke EFI, 2-stroke carb. So we want to look at that 2-stroke carb. It's a carbureted engine. So we just click on that. And then we have our horsepower ranges. So I'm looking for the 7.5 horsepower. So we got a couple of options. But when we click on the 7.5, the first one, then you're going to notice that over here they have, because these are old motors, so this is like an archive of, usually it's a parts catalog that just comes up. You got to scroll through. A lot of times it's weird. It won't load all the way. So if it doesn't load all the way and it just catches up, I just download it. Select the download button and it'll download. But over here earlier, we saw that on marineengine.com, 5206550 and up. So that's the one we want to look at. A lot of times those ranges, like these archives, like they must have done, like they did an update, they did another update, they did another update, and then like this is the whole one. So we got 2 carburetors, a Tillotson and Walbro stamps. So say we looked at that carburetor. Same thing, it's going to come up with a parts diagram, and then it's going to list all the parts down here. And you'll see, like sometimes they have pictures. So if we click on the picture icon, it's going to show us, and that's our float. And we'll click out of that. So we can a lot of times find what part we need by that. I had a gentleman just ask me about a 650 engine. So he's got I think he said he had a 4-cylinder 650. Okay. So I don't know which one these are. You just got to look at your engine, look at these catalogs, and then just try to look at your, you can, a lot of times you can tell by the cowling, you can tell by, some parts on there. Okay, well that's not my engine. You just got to keep searching until you find it, and you'll know. See, like here, we'll get the little hourglass deal. So what you can do is you can hit the download button, and it'll ask me to save the file or open it. I'm going to open it with preview. So then it'll open, and then I'll be able to scroll. It'll pull everything. So he had an issue where on his prop shaft, he was trying to find he had his prop was stuck on, and he had the I think it sounded to me like, without looking at the engine, but it sounded to me like he had a thrust bearing that was out. So I don't know if this is not probably a good example, because, oh, there it is. There's our thrust bearing. So it says number 32. Look, it says 32. Maybe it says 72. I think it says 72. So we'll go scroll, and you'll see it listed again because It's not listing all, it's like a whole page of numbers. So 72, reverse gear assembly. Okay, so that's not it. So let's just look. That's maybe, I'm not sure. I have to look this over. This may be a really bad example because it sees, like 92. I don't think this is showing our prop, our nut propeller, tab washer, propeller nut, washer splined, propeller nut. That's just a washer. Washer cup, thrust hub, and washer assembly. So he probably has to get the whole thrust hub and washer assembly. That's what it looks like. But I mean, you would want to take this to like a prop shop, take everything with you, show them, and they can look up the prop, the hub, the washer assembly. They can get all that for you. I guess if you're in a location there's no prop shop and we're closed, just give them a call, take some pictures, and usually, like we're in Nashville, so Performance Propeller is great, and I can send them an email with pictures, and they can look at it and say, yeah, you need this hub, you need this propeller. Especially like if you take pictures of your boat, those guys are great. They know exactly, like, they'll ask you a few questions. How are you running this? If you're really wanting speed, or if you're just, cruising along, and they'll order you a prop. So, it seems daunting, and it's really kind of a thing I just, found on my own. But say, it's any of these, Evinrude. Let's go to Evinrude. So, like, I think it's, working on an E40, and it's like a TT, yeah, LEIA, right? That's the one I'm working on right now. So, they'll have over here a lot of times marine engine, and you can look up whatever, like some of these common parts, and then over here we've got, like, see, here's like the fuel pump and filter. So we can look up, there's our fuel pump, and there's the filter cap. And then if we wanted to order a fuel pump, we could order a fuel pump from them. So here's a Sierra. So that's, an aftermarket part. Here's the original fuel pump. Okay, 043885556. So if we wanted to, if we thought marine engine was too expensive on that part, we could look up that part, copying this, and then say we go to eBay, or Amazon, or anywhere for that matter, and we can just compare parts pricing. So I'm going to do Evinrude part, and then I'm going to put in that number, and sometimes it'll pop up depending on what your part you're looking for, but I might say fuel pump. Alright, we're going to select the fuel pump, and then we can see this one's $74.99 free shipping, and they're 103. So they're going to be, marine engine is going to be a good place, supplier for things that you can't find, and some things are going to be cheaper than anywhere you can find it, honestly. This is like an aftermarket part, but this is a genuine part. So fellas, try to use genuine parts if you can. There's a reason they're gonna a little bit more money, but they're gonna perform better than an aftermarket part. Aftermarket parts might fail. Fuel pumps, they kind of got them dialed in, although you still really got to watch, what you buy. So I just recommend getting an Evinrude fuel pump. Okay, so there's that. And then say, there's like Crowley Marine. All these people are great. So I'm not picking one over the other. But they have Suzuki and Yamaha. So if you need to look up a Yamaha part, then, we're going to go to Crowley and then, Marine. So up here, they also have like a little thing, pick your manufacturer, so say Yamaha Marine. We're just going to pick out a part. Yamaha outboard. We're going to say it's I'm just picking things out. Say it's a 91. And then say we were looking for a 40 horsepower. Okay. So there's the C40. And that's not, it's similar to the one I worked on a while back. But they're going to have these different listings here. And you can scroll down to all these. And so say we were looking for, I don't know, let's stay with like carburetor. Okay. And then it's going to come up and you can, if this is not big enough, you can make it bigger. You might have to do it with your page. But it's the same thing. They're going to have a parts list. And some of these you have to buy individually. Sometimes you can buy the kit. Usually the kits are either at the top or at the bottom. Almost all of these. So this is probably not a good reference because it's not showing you, showing you a carb kit. So there's our fuel system. Say, again, like if you need to, and some of these, like if you click on it, gasket fuel pump. Let's see if we can get the actual fuel pump. There's the fuel pump assembly. And it comes up, there's our fuel pump. $43.95. Okay. So that's a way to look up parts. So typically we're looking for the model number. Our Mercury, we can look by serial number. So, Johnson, Evinrude, Yamaha, Suzuki, Honda, you're going to look up most of it by the model number. Mercury, you look up by serial numbers. But again, like on Mercury's site, they don't have all of the serial numbers from like 93 earlier. Some of them will come up, some of them won't. It's just hit and miss. So when we're looking at our catalog, say you go to the archive catalog, it'll show you like, okay, here's a 650 4-cylinder, serial number 154 through 176. So if you have one that's outside that serial number, you're going to just keep going through these archives until you find the range of serial numbers that you're looking for parts for. Okay. There's just several. And again, back to marine engine. It's the same kind of deal. We go to Mercury. We don't know the serial number. We know the serial number, but it won't come up. We'll select Mercury outboard. And then, we'll go down, scroll down to, sorry, this is probably really fast for you. There's a 650 4-cylinder. And then they have a serial range. Okay. So we'll click on the last one. And then here's drive shaft housing assembly, gear housing. So you just look at this. Usually the gear housing, it shows you like top view and then bottom view. So like on gear housing, it's going to show you, here's the drive shaft. And then the second one, the second page, usually shows you the prop. So it's like this direction. So here was again, he had he needed to look up and find that thrust washer. So it's all the way down here. So here's the thrust washer, 15, 16 bucks, 20 bucks. They've got them in stock. So there's our thrust washer. Notice this one's not splined. So we want to make sure, you just want to make sure you get the right one. But it's good that they have pictures. And then it'll pop up. They're only showing us one side of that. So anyway, that's how I look up parts, and I buy parts from a lot of different vendors. I don't just use eBay or Amazon. I buy from C&O Marine, and I buy parts from a lot of people actually. So I don't just have one part supplier. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing good. If you like this video, please like, subscribe. The like really does help with the algorithm. And anyway, I hope everybody's doing well and safe, and we'll see you.